What's up, guys? I got another cool build to show off. This is a really cool dial. I had somebody order. They wanted a couple dials like this, and we tried it on multiple different metals to get the look that we're going for to fit the rest of the build. So this was one of them. This was done in aluminum, and it didn't quite match well with the theme of the watch for the other two builds that I'm going to do. Was kind of too dark in spots for the bezel insert and everything that we're going to do. So this is one that didn't pass for the rest of the build, but I thought I can do something cool with it as well. So custom laser etched dial, and that background is done a little bit darker, which works really well with a titanium colored insert. So I did this in a brushed 160 case. You don't see me do these too often. This is a mix between the 350, which is what I normally use, and the 090, which goes from here all the way up and over. It doesn't have the indent, so it's kind of a mix. The 350 normally, would come up and come in here. But what was really cool with this case is, everything attaches back up in the back here, and I thought, you know what? A lug extension coming out the bottom barely would be really cool, and it keeps this thicker strap that fits up in here from being like super restricted from like being pliable. So I might start using a 160 case a little more often, because the way that fits right in there worked out pretty awesome. So it makes it to where this moves all around. Whenever these are just up in here, they're more straight out, where you can move them, but you're moving them like that versus moving them, right? And because they kind of rub. So that worked out really awesome. So I had that lined up before. Apparently I was tightening it on real tight. So real tight, it lines up going straight up and down. Not as tight, it lines up going kind of this direction. So alright, so we have a polished shark tooth bezel. I mentioned the titanium scandi insert. Marks your hours and minutes going all the way around. Got a black paddle hand set with a black lollipop seconds hand. I believe I used a black movement holder in here rather than a stainless steel one. Sometimes stainless steel on top of stainless steel, there's a little bit of movement play in there, and this black one was super tight, so I used that. Little signed rotor, get a little peel here to come off if you like, but one of my low profile exhibition casebacks. These extensions are held on with just your quick disconnects. You can pop this off and put it right to it if you like, but I think it's way cooler like this, but personal preference. And then we have one of my buddy Jonathan Gillespie over at Wristbound, one of his custom, what would I call this? I'll call this, it's probably crazy horse leather, right? Waxy, distressed black with black stitch. I think it came out pretty awesome, and it goes really well with the theme. And then a brushed pre-V buckle. So that is the build. I think this thing came out freaking awesome. So bezel will turn left, it'll turn right. I got it on there decently tight. I might actually try and get it on a little bit tighter on there. Sometimes you don't really know how tight you can get these things on here. So I'll work on bending it a little bit, see if I can get it on there a little bit tighter, towards a little tougher to move. Automatic mechanical. You can see you've got your rotor there. You can wind it, wear it, put it in a watch winder, but if it's dead or you're not going to be very active, make sure you wind it just a little bit. And how you do that is you back the crown off the threads until you can hear it and feel it clicking. At that point, you can wind, and a wind is a turn away from you. Turning it towards you doesn't wind it, but it's a lot easier to keep your finger spacing and just go back and forth, little quarter, half turns. If you do this for 4 or 5 seconds before you put it on, even if you're not very active, that mixed with your rotor movement will keep your time throughout the day. And if you do it for something closer to 15 seconds, you're going to max out your 31 plus hour power reserve on it. You cannot overwind it, so don't worry about that. When you're happy with your winding, pull to the one and only click, and you can now set your time. It does not have a hacking movement, so it's going to keep going on you. You'll also notice you've got a wobble crown. This deflects lateral pressure from going into the stem and into the movement, so when you're pushing and prying on it, you're not putting any adverse pressure anywhere. And also the clutch system disengages the crown from the stem, so if it gets any impact into the crown, it doesn't transfer into the keyless works and into the movement. Okay, Google, what time is it?
It's 11:07 a.m.
It's 11:07 a.m. Push it over, get it out of that time setting, and then wind it down. All right. As with every build, you're going to get matching beads, entirely up to you how cool you are, if you wear them or not. This will come in a brown BBW collection box. I don't have any silvers. I don't have any blacks. I've got an order out, and if I get something in the meantime beforehand, I will swap to it. But offhand, I've got 3 oranges, 1 blue, and 1 other brown. So I am very low. And I did not realize how low I was until I started building a bunch of watches. Going, well, I don't really have something that matches that color. So, as with every build, you're going to get watch cleaner. This is good on all glass and metal parts. Everything there in the center, non-toxic, non-streaking, non-residue, as well as a microfiber, white microfiber, so you can see if you have anything on it. You're also going to get some leather conditioner. This keeps that strap perfectly soft. Apply it on the front and back if you feel that it's ever getting tight or not as pliable. We'll loosen it up. Apply it with a rag or something like that. Don't use one of the microfibers. And work it a little bit, and you should be right back into having a super pliable strap. Lastly, you're going to have some fine scratch remover. This is Novus 2 from Amazon, just repackaged. It's like a poly watch. It's for your acrylic glass because you can scratch it if you do. Put a tiny bit of this on it and buff it out using your matching microfiber. If the scratch is up and down, go left and right, filling that scratch, haze it, buff it out. Come back 10-15 minutes later if you didn't quite get it, so that you can build up that fill. And your scratch will be gone. So that's the build. If it's going to you, thank you so much for your support. I hope you love it. I think this thing came out freaking awesome. And I hope you love it as well. If you want me to build you something custom and unique, reach out and I'll see what I can do. And if you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe as I put them up all the time. Thanks, guys.